Hello, welcome to the third and final stage of the Tour de Romandie Féminin, 131.9 kilometers today from Vernières to Nyon. And what a race we have had so far in the last 3 days here in Switzerland. Starting in Yverdon, we had our summit finish at Tourgon yesterday, and then finishing off with a lumpy day from Vernières to Nyon. Heading out of the start, and we have a loop before we have the first passage of the finish line with 105.7 kilometers to go. We have an intermediate sprint at Vinzel with 99.6 to go, and then we take in our lap, the Mont-sur-Rolle and Le Mollard. 2 category 3 climbs to be climbed twice, one on each loop. And the final climb of the day coming with 29.7 kilometers to the finish. And big question is, will Demi Vollering be able to defend that lead? She has a 6-second advantage over Kasia Niewiadoma going into today's stage, and 12 seconds over Marlen Reusser. She was looking for her Swiss teammate yesterday. It's 25 degrees Celsius. There's a 4-kilometer-an-hour northeasterly wind, so not a huge amount of wind around for the riders to contend with. It was Sofia Bertizzolo of UAE ADQ that took the yellow jersey into yesterday's mountaintop finish. It was Anna Shackley, Sylvia Persico that the attackers at the bottom of the climb. Come the summit, it was Demi Vollering that out-sprinted Kasia Niewiadoma to take the stage with the third place for Marlen Reusser. Vollering in yellow, Fischer Black in white, Neff in blue as Queen of the Mountains leader, and Sofia Bertizzolo defending the points classification lead. So she wears that orange jersey going into today. The classification for the Queen of the Mountains is very, very tight. Yolanda Neff leading Niamh Fisher Black and Kasia Niewiadoma by just 2 points going into today's stage, with 20 points on offer. Niamh Fisher Black has 39-second advantage over Ricarda Baumfind in the Best Young Riders classification. For Sofia Bertizzolo, she has 65 points to Demi Vollering's 36 and Karina Schrempf's 36. So can the Italian defend that lead today? SD Works leading in the team classification, 2 minutes and 17 ahead of Kanya Schramm. UAE ADQ third at 4:38. Great day out for Niamh Fisher Black yesterday. The young New Zealander climbing to 5th spot, just 37 seconds down on Demi Vollering at the finish. And as is always tradition, the leaders' jerseys rolling out from the start. 94 starters taking to the start today. 9.9 kilometer neutralized section. And it's very much, at the end of today, it's going to be very much schools out for a lot of riders. Thanks for your company. Martin McDonald and Joanna Rouser with you to take you through today's race action. Joe, what a race it's been so far, and it's still open on this final stage.
It very much is very open. Plenty of bonus seconds on the line as well, and very tight at the top of the GC, and of course the other jerseys to go for as well.
Third and final stage of the Tour de Romandie Féminin. 131.9 kilometers today from Vernières to Nyon, and we go live, and Sofia Bertizzolo sprinting it out here in the orange jersey as a points leader, which tells us that we are approaching our intermediate sprint point for the Italian in that orange jersey, taking her first World Tour win on the opening day on stage 1. There is your point through the line, and the UAE ADQ rider in that orange jersey came up to the summit. It was a great day for her yesterday in that yellow jersey up to the summit at Tourgon. So take some more intermediate sprint points. So Vinzel with 44 kilometres to go. There you have it, 43.9 up onto your screen. That was our intermediate sprint. So really extending her lead in this points classification. Just about on the route, we have a climb with 36.3 to go, the Montserrat. That's a 2.6 kilometre climb, averaging 6.2%, maxing out at 7.5. We have Le Mollard as well out along the route, but there's quite a few little uncategorised little kickers that we have as well on this circuit.
Yeah, it's one of those hard days. In total, there's over 1,500 metres of climbing throughout the stage. As you said, there's 4 categorised climbs, all being third category. But it's one of those nasty days where it's just sort of up and down all day. It's going to be a lot of tired legs out there after yesterday's stage. And, of course, it's day 3 of the bike race. And it's right at the end of the season. There's not many days of racing to go of this road season of 2023. So there's going to be a lot of fatigue, a lot of tired legs, but also a lot of riders that haven't had a win yet this year. A lot of teams desperate to get points for the overall Women's World Tour. So there'll be a lot of riders hungry for a victory today, despite the sort of end of season fatigue.
We do have 2 races in China to come on the 12th to 14th of October and the 17th of October. Tour of Chongming Island and the Tour of Guangxi. Some teams, because teams don't have to race every single round, so some teams will choose to sit that one out. So quite a few riders that have had a long season are going to be looking forward to a bit of a vacation after this, bit of a holiday. Yeah, and with those races being in October, that is very late. You know, traditionally the cycling season on the road as often ended end of September. Riders like to take a sort of month-long break in October. It's the real sort of traditional way of doing things, and then build back into the start of the season. Of course, a lot of riders now mix up the disciplines. There's a lot of riders that do race cyclocross as well as for pro road teams, so there's that to think about. There'll be riders sort of coming into their cross season, so there'll be a number of different riders approaching this differently. But this is the final European round of the Women's World Tour for the 2023 season. Just to confirm your sprint, it was Sophia Bertizzolo that took 15 points ahead of Silvia Persico, her teammate, who took 10, and Antonia Niedermeyer for Canyon SRAM taking 6. We were keeping up to speed with what had gone on so far today. First sprint of the day in Vinzel with 35.1 kilometres covered. That was Chiara Consonia that took that ahead of Maria Benito and Julie van der Velde. 15, 10 and 6 points respectively for there. At 89.1 kilometres to go, the first ascent of the Montserrat. Maria Benito taking 5 points there ahead of Mavi Garcia, Neve Bradbury and Julie van der Velde. On to Le Mollard with 82.6 to go was the summit there. It was Maria Benito that took 5 points ahead of Los Arges, with Neve Fisher-Black taking 2 and Yolanda Neff taking 1 point. And we did have a breakaway group. We were kind of keeping an eye on things just before we came on air. And it did look like all the contenders in the Queen of the Mountains got themselves into a break, including Yolanda Neff, who was reported had a bit of a crash in that leading group. But it looked like they kind of got wise to the fact that Maria Benito was looking to try and sweep things up as 20 points on offer today. So if a break went clear and no one else scored any points, you could essentially steal the Queen of the Mountains on the final day. But we had a fairly decent breakaway group, with Neve Fisher-Black being the highest placed rider in that breakaway group. It didn't look like anyone was really wanting to let that go. No, they had 30 plus seconds before we came on air. We were following the race as much as we could, but it has been brought back now, so we do have one main peloton here. But yeah, you're right, that Queen of the Mountains jersey very much up for grabs. Yolanda Neff leading that by 1 point from Neve Fisher-Black and Los Adagest on both on 17. Cassina Vidoma on 15, and then, as you just mentioned, Benito is on 10. There's still 2 third category climbs, still a maximum of 10 points available if you were to win both of those. So it could all change. And just looking at the teams at the front now getting organised, you can see we got sort of four lead-out trains on the go. AG Insurance Sudal Quickstep on the left of your screen there. Phoenix de Koenig sort of in the middle with the dark blue. Team Jumbo Visma in the yellow, and then also Team Jayco Alula, all trying to get to the front here as we lead into the base of the next climb. Absolutely drilling it on the front, various teams. So Jayco Alula leading out. You've got AG Insurance Sudal Quickstep on the left as you look at the peloton. And then you've got Jumbo-Visma, Amber Crack wearing 81 there. Fem Van Empel just in the middle wearing 86. And there's your yellow jersey of Demi Vollering, and latched right on her wheel is Kasia Niewiadoma. What a battle we had yesterday at the top of Torgom. And Kasia was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place yesterday, because we looked at it. You would look at that climb and look at the way it approaching the finish, and you would say, oh, Kasia doing too much work. But it was one of those situations, was almost, okay, do I ride and try and out sprint Demi Vollering, or do I try and out sprint Demi Vollering and Marlon Reusser?
Yeah, so she had her teammates do a lot of work on the front in that group, particularly Ricardo Bauernfein and Antonio Niedermeyer really whittled down that front group on that climb spectacularly to just a handful of riders left. Kasia was then able to go clear with Demi Vollering. So Demi Vollering was isolated for the first time in a long time, because she's got such strong teammates around her. And Kasia was drilling it on the front, but then Marlon Reusser was coming back across to them. In the end, of course, it was Demi Vollering that won the stage and has taken the yellow jersey. This is the turn into the base of this climb. This is the second time they've done this today. We're doing 2 laps of this circuit, so we have already been up this climb once. So hence all those lead-outs, trying to get your teammates into good position coming into the bottom of this climb here.
Julie van der Velde, job done by van der Velde. So just dropping back. 39.2 to go. She can now just roll in towards the finish. Her job is done. Kim Kadzo is on the back for, or is just moving up for Jumbo-Visma. From the aerial shot, Kristen Faulkner just second in line there behind Ingeveld Gaskin. Here come DSM Firmenich. Jolanda Neff in that light blue jersey. You can see the Queen of the Mountains leader. She'll be looking to try and take maximum points over the top of this one if she can. Gaia Realini is just in your picture there in that yellow, red and blue jersey wearing 43. Just ahead of her, Cecilia Trupp Ludwig. Canyon Schramm moving up with Kasia Niewiadoma. And then her 2 teammates right on the wheel. So Antonia Niedermeyer wearing 35. This is Neve Bradbury just starting to get tailed off a little bit here. The Canyon SRAM rider. And as we said, a phenomenal team ride by Canyon SRAM yesterday to try and set things up for team leader Kasia Niewiadoma. Neve Bradbury been in a little break earlier on today, it looked like, for the Canyon SRAM team. And this climb, it's a decent climb, this one, and it did look like it broke up the previous ascent quite considerably.
Yeah, it goes up to just over 8% in the steeper sections that I've seen. I think it was averaging about 6%. We just see a graphic at the start there, but I think the key thing for this climb, they have been up it once already, because we are doing 2 laps of this circuit. So we've already had a little breakaway go the first time, and riders pick up those points then, but all change this time.
So our little group just at the back here. So Leah Fouche, just ahead of her is Anya Lau wearing 5 there in the blue and white of AG Insurance Sidal Quickstep. Maria Benito wearing 2, who's been on the attack so far today, Maria Benito. But good to see the Spanish rider back and racing well after that crash in Tour de France Femme avec Zwift. And right alongside her, Alicia Maria Arzufi wearing number 132 here for the Sarah Tizet WNT team. And the motorbike's just going to zoom ahead here as the teammates of Kristen Faulkner, who were trying to lead out. This is Amber Pate, just drifting off the back for Jaco Alula, but she'd done everything that she could to try and deliver the team leaders into this climb, put them into a fighting position. Back up to the front, Realini out of the saddle on your right there. She's 10th overall. Here comes Ricardo Bauernfein up towards the front. Ruby Roseman Gannon, job done by her. Kristen Faulkner now towards the front for Jaco Alula. There's a good glimpse of the climb. It's a nice gradual climb. It's very nice and flat through the corners, but you can see how much it just kicks up out of the hairpins. And we've had a bit of an attack here. Is that Kristen Faulkner now trying to go clear for the Jaco Alula team?
Yes, we've got this sweeping left-hander here, and then there's not so many tight bends as we come to the finish. But as you're saying, compared to yesterday where we had, I think, 22 hairpins on that climb that we counted, loads and loads of switchbacks. This is far more of a sweeping climb, far more open, and that's why it's the third category. It's not the first category like we saw yesterday. So not as long and not as steep a gradients as we have seen.
There's definitely the potential here to try something on this final loop, and we've got bonus seconds on the line.
Yep.
It is tight as well in terms of the general classification. Ingvild Gaskin there, job done. Kristen Faulkner, the attack, not quite able to split the group under the pressure. Here's Hannah Nielsen, the Swedish rider from Ceratizit WNT, just drifting back. And then Clara Honsinger, a couple of riders in front of her. Clara Honsinger on the attack on stage 1. This is Quinty Tong from Live Racing Tech Find in the purple jersey. Those the Jayco Alula and Live Racing Tech Find teams, of course, combining next year. Here's Clara Honsinger, who I think she's got to be fairly pleased with cross prep that she's done here in Romandie.
Yeah, she was our lone solo breakaway rider. Lone solo? Both of those things. Lone leader for most of stage 1. Unfortunately, didn't get to see much of that on our TV screens. We caught the end of her breakaway, but she was away for a very long time on her own. Picked up a lot of Queen of the Mountains points herself there as well, before being caught by the peloton.
Justin Herrera here for AG Insurance Sugadao Quick Step. She's had a good season. It's been a long season as well for her. She's held good form throughout the year. This is Victoria Gielman from FDJ Suez. And that team has had a great season. And just ahead, we're just the riders just getting tailed off here. Back to the front, Juliette Labousse sat second wheel here for DSM Firmenich. And Juliette Labousse sits 27 seconds down on the yellow jersey of Demi Vollering that you could just see in the background there. Labousse with the teammates in front of her. We would expect the French rider to try something. Juliette Labousse was one of the first big attacks yesterday on the climb. Nee Fisher-Black moving up in that white jersey. Our best young rider, Yolanda Neff, pedaling up in the blue. Just a little hand on the back there of Guy Realini. Neff is keeping an eye on Nee Fisher-Black. We've got a battle here for the Queen of the Mountains points. Fisher-Black with the 13, one up the right way, one turned up the other way. And now the sprint starts for the summit of the climb. And it's Lois Argeist here for FDJ Suez that wants some points. Crests the summit. Does Argeist. There's your line. Quite tight at the top there before you drop straight down, and decided to put the top there right on the corner. If you're with us on the TV, you're off for a short break. This is hotting up nicely. Come back. Marta Lack, the winner of the final stage of Tour de Romandie. Last year, it was her first World Tour win for Marta Lack, and comes into this race on great form. Does the Polish rider for Ceratizit WNT. Can she get herself over these climbs and keep herself into a position to potentially challenge for the stage win? But she's given herself plenty of drift room on that climb. She's still in contact with the back of the group. Up to the front, it's Canyon SRAM that are throwing it down the descent now, and you can see Cassia Niewiadoma's second wheel, Nee Fisher-Black, and then Demi Vollering are all up there. What a descent here. Look at the power of Elise Chabet on the descent, attacking through these corners, and the motorbike is struggling to stay ahead. Has a glance back over the shoulder, and that little gap opened, and Niewiadoma doing the right thing here, just handing it over to Team SD Works to try and bring her back.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting another team to do the work to try and close the gap to her teammate there. No point trying to close the gap herself. We're very soon into the next climb. The next climb begins at 33k to go. So this is a very fast ascent, and then we're straight into another climb. Of course, as I've said, this is the second lap of this course today. So the riders do already know the climbs in this route, but you can see how much this group is strung out here and how thinned it is compared to how it was when we first came on air, when there was quite a sizable number of people in this group.
Indeed, we just saw Petra Stiassny there just off the back, and she's the young Swiss climber for Phoenix de Koenig, and she had a similar thing yesterday coming into that final climb. Unfortunately, she lost distance coming into the foot of the climb yesterday, so hopefully she can get herself back in here. SD Works have brought the rampaging Canyon SRAM team under control for now. I'm loving the challenge. I'm loving the way that both of these teams as well have been facing off against each other in this race.
Yeah, well, there's 6 seconds separating Cassie Niewiadoma and Demi Vollering on GC, thanks to a few bonus seconds of Demi Vollering at the end yesterday, as well as a little gap on the finish line between the two of them. But it's very close at the top. Canyon SRAM have got a superbly strong team here. ST Works, we've talked about them all season. They've always got a strong team. They've got 1st and 3rd on GC, as well as 5th and 8th, and top 2 in the Young Riders classification as well. So they're all over it. But two of the biggest teams in women's cycling really battling it out here.
Kim Kadzo for Jumbo-Visma. There's Soraya Paladin also just getting back on to the group. 33.9 to go. We have our next climb, the climb of Le Mollard, which is 3.2 kilometres in length, maxing out at 9%. Not far away from there. Marlon Reusser in the centre of your picture. Marta Lack just moving up in the red and blue. .6 kilometres to go on the final stage of Tour de Romandie Feminin. This is round 24 of the Women's World Tour for 2023. And our leader, Demi Vollering, wearing the yellow jersey, 6 seconds ahead of Kasia Niewiadoma on the general classification. Swiss teammate Marlon Reusser third at 12 as we hit Le Mollard. This is the 3rd category climb, 3.2 kilometres in length, averaging 6.6%, maxing out at 9%. Juliette Labousse, 4th on GC at 27 seconds. Niamh Fisher-Black is sitting in 5th at 37 seconds. Then we go back a minute 16 to Sylvia Persico, Ricardo Bauernfeind, Erica Magnaudi and Anna Shackley. And then a minute and 18 to 10th place with Gaia Realini of the Lidl Trek team. So that is all to play for. So it's still tight. 10, 6 and 4 bonus seconds on the line for the first 3. Back up to the front, it's Marlon Reusser in that red jersey for SD Works, champion of Switzerland, the yellow. How many times this year have we seen Demi Vollering in a leader's jersey? DSM with Juliette Labousse, that second wheel. Look like they're planning something. Realini out of the saddle for Lidl Trek. Labousse just putting the team to work here to lead her out on this climb. Good to see DSM really... Again, DSM through the Giro, through the Tour, they've really impressed in looking to set Juliette Labousse up so far this year.
Yeah, they have, and it just shows, how important your team are in cycling. We always talk about it being a team sport, but of course only one rider gets to wear that leader jersey or go on the podium at the end. But Juliette Labousse has been impressive for a few seasons now, but it's her team, like you say, have really sort of stepped up and been able to support her. And I think when you start to believe in your teammate and you're able to invest in them, that helps everyone else sort of raise their game and raise their level. And it's not just the riders, but the staff as well. Everyone behind the scenes at the team can see those sort of things coming together, and it gives everybody a much needed boost.
Soraya Paladin just getting tailed off on the climb. Under the pressure of DSM on the front, we saw her teammate Kasia Niewiadoma just talking into the radio. I was had a quick look at Mavi Garcia getting distanced. That's a surprise on the climb.
It is a surprise, but with these two climbs so close together and with that descent raced so hard by Canyon SRAM and Elise Chabet in particular, really drilling it on that descent, sometimes it can really hurt the legs more than you expect, just to try and get back on terms if a descent is raced that fast. And then suddenly you're into the next climb and you're like, wow, I've really not got anything more to give now.
So Garcia, full of Racing Tech Fine, just getting dropped. And Juliette Labousse and teammates are putting everyone under pressure. Sylvia Persico sat 4th in line, right behind Marlene Reusser. Here comes Antonia Niedermeyer, just to the right of your peloton as you look at it. Urshka Ziegart for the Jayco Alula team. Sofia Bertizzolo, motorbike, just focusing in on her. Where is she in terms of the group? Looks like she's just starting to lose a bit of distance. So is Yolanda Neff, just ahead of her. So Bertizzolo, any of the fast finishers here have just got to try and get themselves over the top in striking distance, really, of this group, and try and ride their way back on over the course of the final almost 30 kilometres.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's about 28k to go from the summit of this climb to the finish, and it is pretty much downhill the whole way. Just seeing Yolanda Neff, they're getting distance. That's our current Queen of the Mountains. Well, she was our Queen of the Mountains leader coming into today. But just seeing these two riders here, it is Adagast of FDJ Suez, who will now be in the lead for that classification, having just won the previous points on the previous third category climb. So she's now on 22 points compared to Yolanda Neff's 18. So she will take this jersey with just 5 more points on offer on this climb today.
So we've got Le Mollard, the final Cat 3. So plenty of points scored. So then Montsorol, it was Aragast, Fisher Black, Chabet and Nuvia Doma that took the maximum points. And that puts, so Los Aragast with 22, Niamh Fisher Black second with 20, Yolanda Neff third on 18, Cassia Nuvia Doma fourth with 16, and Maria Benito fifth with 10 points. And we have the points on offer at the top. So 5, 3, 2 and 1 points on offer at the top. So Niamh Fisher Black
could still get it, yes. So we've just seen Adagast and Neff just sort of chatting to each other, sort of accepting that Neff is going to lose the jersey. But it could be neither of them if Niamh Fisher Black is able to get maximum points here. I'm not sure how much of that she'll know, how much information should have been given by the team, and how much they'll be thinking about Demi Vollering's leader's jersey. But you can just see her coming up the outside there. So perhaps she is thinking not just the young rider's jersey, but also the Queen of the Mountains are still available today.
SD Works just love winning everything, don't they?
They do. It gets a little bit greedy, doesn't it? We've been talking about them all season, and, credit to Niamh Fisher Black. She's still such a young rider, and she's been climbing superbly well throughout the season. They've been really impressive all the way back to the Vuelta where we worked on that, and seeing how well she was climbing there alongside Demi Vollering. So consistent throughout the season.
I'm sure that the team will have let Niamh Fisher Black know that they've seen Yolanda Neff and Los Aragast starting to get distanced off the back of the group. And DSM Firmenich doing a great job here, leading out for Juliette Labousse. This is Laura Asensio, the French rider for Sarah Tizet WNT. Just getting dropped off the back of the group. There's Karina Schrempf also losing time. Urshka Ziegart, we would say surprisingly, getting dropped from the group. But pressure definitely on, so just trying to whittle this group down now. No one really able to attack so far.
I think with the summit of this being so far from the finish, there'll be some riders thinking, I know I can get back on. There'll be other riders that are just like, no, the legs have gone, haven't got it today. Even if I'm in the group, I'm not going to be able to win this race. So there'll be a sort of real mix of fatigue out there. Of course, all the big names are towards the front of this group, and, all the ones that we'd expect, really. But just seeing a few more riders here getting distanced.
Claire Steels.
I was just going to say, is that Claire Steels? Yeah, just getting distance there, a little bit from this group.
And for some riders like Claire Steels that have been they've been a leader in sort of every race that they've ridden, and at some point in the season the legs just do say no, don't they, sometimes? Yeah,
and I think that's an advantage when it comes to running for a bigger team. And people often say, well, when you've got all these big names in the same team, like, that's not fair, you're going to get all the chances to win. But actually it takes the pressure off so much, and it's a long season. a lot of races, and if you're not always the team leader, if the pressure can be on someone else some of the time, that really does make things easier for each individual, and overall you can end up with more wins. So that is why you often see a sort of cluster of big names at the same team, like, SD Works being the prime example, but actually they're all able to keep winning.
Liana Lippert attacks on the climb. It was Ninka Vinka that was doing all the work for Juliette Labousse. Where is Niamh Fisher-Black? She's got a chance here of the Queen of the Mountains jersey if she's got any challenge, but it's Liana Lippert on the climb. Cassia Nuviadoma, Demi Vollering, Juliette Labousse, and Cecily Uttrup-Ludwig with Marlon Reusser and Sylvia Persico not far away. Lippert for Movistar taking off on the climb here. So good attack. You've got to say a group of riders of the season so far. Lippert, Nuviadoma, Vollering, and Uttrup-Ludwig. And that group just starting to edge clear here. Liana Lippert really persisting now with this attack.
This climb, it is amazing that it's the same category as the previous one, because it does seem so much harder. I think obviously it's the way it's been raced. It has been ridden very hard. The previous climb was very much about those Queen of the Mountains points for the riders going for that jersey. But this climb seems to be another GC battle from a lot of our big riders for the overall standings. Cassie Nuviadoma right up there. She's being followed very closely by Demi Vollering, just 6 seconds separating these two on GC. But Liana Lippert really trying to split the field to bits here. There is the line for the Queen of the Mountains points, so no points for Niamh Fisher-Black.
No points at all. So Cassia Nuviadoma was up there. We'll update you on the Queen of the Mountains as soon as we get the results. So the head of the race, Demi Vollering, Liana Lippert, Cassia Nuviadoma, and Cecily Uttrup-Ludwig. And Vollering not coming through here, not going to work. Deciding she will want her teammates to come back to her. As the yellow jersey as well, that you have that, I suppose that's that one of cycling's unwritten rules. When you're a yellow jersey, getting the break, don't have to work.
She doesn't have to work at all. No, she's got the race lead. If it all comes, if they come together at the finish, she's going to win the bike race. So she doesn't need to work. It's up to the other 3 riders in this group to try and attack her. It's one of those rare moments where she is isolated. She normally has teammates with her. Marlon Reusser is not far behind there. Of course, she came 3rd on yesterday's stage, so she has been climbing very well in this race. But yeah, a very rare moment for SD Works to be down to just one rider in the lead group. So opportunity for Movistar, Canyon SRAM and FDJ Suez here. But at the moment, all pace just coming off. Little shake of the head there.
Liana Lippert just has a bit of a word there with Demi Vollering as she comes through. And we have this long descent, and then we have another short little kick, and Lippert just trying to motivate this group to work. As Demi Vollering just getting in the middle, just running a bit of interference. She said yesterday that she wants Marlon Reusser to potentially get a stage. If you're with us on the TV, you're off for a short break. Come back. Cecily Uttrup-Ludwig on the back. Lippert and Nuviadoma are going to drive on here. Cecily Uttrup-Ludwig coming over the top. She's going to assist Liana Lippert and Cassia Nuviadoma. Vollering just talking into the radio just to find out where the teammates are. And to her, Marlon Reusser is just in that group behind. And in this position for Cassia, for Cecily Uttrup-Ludwig, for Liana Lippert, do you want to drag Demi Vollering all the way to the finish?
Well, the situation here for the overall, Liana Lippert and Cecilia Uttrup-Ludwig are outside the top 10. They're 16th and 13th on GC respectively. So they're not thinking they're going to, well, they're going to move themselves up on GC if this group stays away. But I think for them, they'll be thinking there's a potential stage win here. However, we know Demi Vollering has got that really good kick on her at the finish. We saw that yesterday at the top of the mountain. It's going to be hard to beat her. But it's easier to beat her in this situation with no teammates than it is if it all comes back together and she's got the might of SD Works around her. So I think if I were one of these riders in this group, I would be keen to keep pushing on. Although Demi Vollering is well within her right to sit on here. So another one of those funny situations in cycling where it's like, do I push on, exhaust myself and potentially have her win again? Or do I sit up and potentially have more SD Works teammates come up behind? But Cassia is pushing on now.
Cassia Nuviadoma attacking, so this is a good move here. So Cecily Uttrup-Ludwig and Liana Lippert just easing off a touch as Cassia went, forcing Demi Vollering to come through and work. You've got Juliette Labousse, Marlon Reusser and Sylvia Persico, the 3 riders behind. If they get in here, we would expect Vollering and SD Works to now work with this group. Cecily Uttrup Ludwig, both Uttrup Ludwig and Lippert would fancy their chances of a sprint from these four, but I think these three are going to get on behind them.
Yeah, I could just see Cassie and Niewiadoma there looking over her shoulder. Well, they all are now, just trying to see who's coming up behind. Very important to have that awareness in a race of how far the next group is behind. Is it worth just keep pushing on, or is it worth backing off the pedals slightly? Getting a few more bike riders in your group, a few more riders to work with can be a huge help. So we now have that group come together. The question is, how far is it back to our next group? Oh, it's saying 30 seconds to our next group. This has got the potential to stay away here. 27k to go. Pretty much downhill all the way to the finish. There are a few little kicks, so you don't notice that in your legs when you are on the third day of a stage race, but overall a very fast run-in now towards the end.
So you got your yellow jersey of Demi Vollering in this group. She's got her teammate Marlen Reusser now up here in that Swiss Champions jersey, and if you want a rider in a breakaway to add some power, it's the Swiss champion. So Marlen up there, Liane Lippert for Movistar, Kasia Niewiadoma for Canyon SRAM, Sylvia Persico for UAE ADQ, and Cecily Uttrup Ludwig for the FDJ Suez team, along with Juliette Labousse here of Team DSM. 27.5k to go. .30 seconds is the gap, with 27.4 kilometres to go here on stage 3 of the Tour de Romandie Féminin. 131.9 kilometres today from Vernières to Nyon. And your leading group, Marlen Reusser and Demi Vollering of SD Works, Sylvia Persico of UAE ADQ, Kasia Niewiadoma from Canyon SRAM, Liane Lippert from Movistar, Cecily Ludwig from FDJ Suez, and Juliette Labousse from DSM Firmenich. So our yellow jersey is up here, along with second place Kasia Niewiadoma, who sat 6 seconds down on Vollering going into the day. Marlen Reusser 12 seconds down in third place. Juliette Labousse fourth at 27 seconds out of this group. The riders such as Liane Lippert, Cecily Uttrup Ludwig will fancy their chances of a stage victory in a sprint out of this group. So will Sylvia Persico, who has got a fast finish. She sits 6th overall at 1 minute and 16 seconds. This is your next group on the road. 25 seconds is the gap from that leading group back to the chasers. Big question in this group. Hopefully we'll get a glimpse of the front. Who's working on the front? Who has missed out on this one? Because the big teams, you would say, are all in here.
Yes, I definitely saw a few Team Jumbo-Visma riders on the front of that next group trying to do some work. They are one of the big teams not here. Of course, Lidl Trek not represented, but they've only got 4 riders in this race, and I can't imagine them having the sort of firepower left at this stage to be able to try and close this gap, depending on who even is left in that group. We've spoken already about Elisa Longa-Borghini having a difficult season in terms of illness, so not sure where they are. We're seeing 20 seconds on the screen now. It would take a real big commitment from this front group to be able to stay away, because this is such a fast run-in. I did say it's pretty much downhill all the way to the finish. There is a little bit of a kick from 23k to go to 22k to go, so that's coming up. Not a categorised climb, but one of those little sort of leg sapping parts of the course where it is going uphill, which you didn't really want when you're thinking in your head it's a descent. But at the moment you can see how strung out these riders are. It takes incredible skill to be able to ride this fast on a descent. Look at this.
Fem van Empel on the front. Anyone who joins us in the winter for cyclocross will have seen Fem van Empel winning on the snow up in Val de Soleil. So Fem van Empel spends most of her life sliding, and so hence why she can descend on a road bike. Elise Chabet is with her, so the Jumbo-Visma rider and the Canyon SRAM rider looking to try and get themselves up here, because they are splitting this group under the pressure of this one. You can just see they're pulling the neutral car out and the bikes as well. There's a few bits of road furniture that they're having to negotiate here, and a lot of the bikes getting pulled out of the gap under the pressure. Pressure completely out of this front group here.
Yeah, no, they know how close the group is behind. They know it's not worth pushing on. I mean, for Demi Vollering, she doesn't need to push on. She's the race leader, but Canyon SRAM here making a bit of a move, trying to just take advantage of the fact that Demi Vollering hasn't got her full team around her, but she has got Marlen Reusser there. If you're going to have one teammate, have someone that's one of the strongest riders in the world.
So that group now swells in numbers with Fem Van Empel, Elise Chabet getting up to that leading group on this long descent that we have as we go through Benyins. On this descent, it's long, it's sweeping. You can see the riders that have that real skill in descending that are just clipping off the front of the group and getting themselves in. This is the little kicker.
Yes, we have got a couple of little kickers on the run into the finish. Very little, you know, relatively it is all downhill to the finish until we get to our finish time, which we've been through already. But there are a couple of little bits like this which do make the legs hurt. Could be a launch pad for somebody that's still got something that they want to give and try and get away from this group. Just looking here, we're now up to 3 SD Works riders here, 2 Jumbo Visma, 2 Canyon SRAM. So swelling nicely now. It
is. So Antonia Niedermeyer's got in here. Fem Van Empel, looks like Eva Van Acht that's also now in the group. Kasia Niewiadoma attacking. Demi Vollering is just going to pedal here. You can just see there a bit of road works that they had to contend with. Anna Shackley has got back on. Ashley Mormon-Passio is also there. Ricardo Bauernfein, Neve Fisher-Black a little bit further down the group. Niewiadoma looking around at Demi Vollering, who's just really just controlling this group. It's like an iron grip that she has in this group at the moment.
Yeah, she can race defensively. She hasn't got to be the aggressive one. She's able to just follow all these moves. She does now have some teammates with her, so it was very, very briefly isolated, but not for very long at all. Just seeing Claire Steele's on the screen here. Just trying to get on terms of the back of this group. This is one of these little kicks that I mentioned that do sap the legs, but we will be back to descending very soon.
Kristen Faulkner, there's the rider there from J.K. Lula that was also being distanced from the group. This is Carolina Anderson for Live Racing Tech Find. Can they get themselves back in there? Jumbo Visma Swanee at the side. Quick bottle to Fem Van Empel. Greta Martirano is also in here. So for the helicopter shot, Erica Magnaldi is also back in there. So strength in numbers here for Canyon SRAM. The teammates are just a little bit further down. Kasia Niewiadoma and Liana Lippert looking around at everyone. Is Bauernfein going to make a move? Vollering comes through to the front. There's Niedermeyer on the back. So strength in numbers here from Canyon SRAM. There'll be a bit of discussion. There's strength in numbers as well for SD Works.
Cassie Niewiadoma for Canyon SRAM has been very active, but often seems to make her attacks from the front, so she hasn't quite got that element of surprise. And Demi Vollering always seems very wise to those moves going, but now she's got a few more teammates around her. That'll give her the confidence to try again, I'm sure. But we've got another move now. Yep, Juliette Labou.
So Labou goes on the attack for DSM Firmenich. With her Anna Shackley right on the wheel. Vollering gets in there in that yellow jersey. And for anyone, always got to look ahead, see if there's anything coming up, that there might be an opportunity to springboard something. There's riders in the background getting on all the time. Gaia Realini has also made it back in here for Lidl Trek. So a really select group, but not able to get anything working here, which will allow those teammates behind to get themselves back in. Our white jersey of Neve Fisher-Black is there. Ashley Mormon-Passio said herself the health problems that she's had in recent races really put pay to her on the climb yesterday. It's Rosita Reinhardt there for Jumbo Visma. So she's the other Jumbo Visma rider along with Fem Van Empel. Coming in towards that final 20 kilometres to go. How do you play this one now? See if there's an opportunity to try and get clear. Do you invest? Do we put the multiple riders on the front that we have? It's a real conundrum, really, isn't it? This group.
Is. And the danger of this group not working, you can see here, and there's a few more riders trying to get back on. There's another couple of riders just out the bottom of the shot there. There's going to be lots more riders in groups behind that are fast finishers that will be able to come back on if this group doesn't work together.
Marlon Reusser just slightly off the back there with Kasia Niewiadoma. So keeping an eye on the Polish rider. There's a little face-off going off at the back of the group here.
Yeah, I think Marlon Reusser knows that if Cassiane Miedema keeps attacking, she's going to have quite a lot of work to do because, of course, there is just 6 seconds separating her and Demi Vollering on GC. So Marlon Reusser could be the one to have to do all that work. But now it's FDJ Suez going on the attack.
Cecilie Uttrup Ludwig looking to launch something up this small climb, and Vollering looks around. So Uttrup Ludwig and Chabet are the riders that are going. Vollering's looking for her teammates to do some work. Cecilie Uttrup Ludwig it sits 13th at 152, so no danger in terms of the general classification. Elise Chabet's 11th at 152. Both of these riders are going off in search of a stage win here. And it was looking for any kind of rise, wasn't it, on this run-in to launch a move, and Cecilie doing just that.
Yeah, the problem is you're not getting the opportunity to really get out of sight on these sort of roads here. They are very open. There's not that shelter. There's not those twists and turns that you often get when we ride through town. So at the moment, very clear exactly what sort of gap riders have got, and you lose that element of like out of sight, out of mind. At the moment, not so much of a response. You could just see a lull in pace, but a couple of riders now trying to jump across.
So the move goes. So Cecilie Uttrup Ludwig and Elise Chabet. Lippert and Labuse looked around at SD Works, and rightly so, you would say, for them to do the work to close up to Chabet and Uttrup Ludwig, who both riders very capable of a stage win here on the final stage of Tour de Romandie. For this group, they've almost got to do that. They've almost got to play things in that way, and it's Ashley Moorman-Passio that's bringing the group across here. It is almost riders attack from different teams, isolate SD Works and make them do all of the chasing.
Yeah, see, at the moment, you can see Ashley Moorman-Passio here trying to get across to this group, but that gives a lot of other riders the opportunity to get on her wheel and follow. There was that lull in pace from behind, but at the moment, very tiny gap now between that front group and that second group, so I think that's going to come back together, unfortunately. But yeah, it's that difficult situation. If you want to jump across, who do you risk taking with you? Or do you sit back and wait for one of the bigger teams to do the work to bring it back? But at the moment, we're going to get this all back together. Are we going to get a counter-attack? Just a little opportunity going through a town here. Couple of twists, tiny little opportunity to get out of sight. One of the rare ones on this run into the finish here, which is overall very open.
Niamh Fisher-Black, our white jersey. Where is she? We'll just have a look. 18.7 to go. Just getting dropped off the back of the group here a little bit is Niamh Fisher-Black. So all of that pressure, all of that chasing done by Niamh. And this is another little rise now through this town. We have a climb up through this town. We have a small descent, then another little short kick. So there is an opportunity through this town to try and launch something. Just see Petra Stiasny there for Fenix de Koenig, wearing 95 in the blue. Has got herself back in there. Canyon Schramm. It's Ricarda Bauernfeind, the next rider to go here for Canyon Schramm. And Ricarda sits at 116. And they've got to be mindful of this. Remember the attack that the young German rider put in the Tour de France Femme when she went clear. It was a very sort of little stealthy move. Ricarda Bauernfeind is becoming already in her short career the queen of stealth attacks, we would say. Just can kind of creep away when no one's kind of expecting it.
Yeah, and that's the key. It's the element of surprise, that sort of trying to go under the radar ever so slightly. And on these narrow roads, it is harder to see up ahead of you. I mean, as I'm saying this, Demi Vollering is just closing that gap sort of with ease, it would seem. And I mean, they're doing the right thing. They're attacking the yellow jersey. They're making her work. That is what I want to see happen. I don't want to see other teams do the work to close these gaps. It's the responsibility of SD Works and that yellow jersey to close those gaps. And that is what is happening at the moment now.
And it is interesting having Niamh. She used up Niamh Fisher-Black, essentially, didn't she? Because we've seen the white jersey now being dropped from the group. She's the rider that's been... She was jumping around early on in the day for Queen of the Mountains points. Watch Juliette Labuse and Ashley Moorman-Passio. Now just the road rising. This is this next small rise that we have. Antonia Niedermeyer is going. Vollering will look around. Ashley Moorman-Passio, defending champion. Didn't have the legs that she wanted on the high mountains yesterday. Kinkadzio Still just on the back of the group here for Jumbo-Visma.
See, that was the moment there with that attack by Archimon and Passio. You really want to make Demi Vollering do the work here. So there were quite a few riders trying to get on that attack. Demi Vollering was just able to follow all of those wheels and really not being put under pressure here because there's plenty of riders. You know, everyone wants a stage win now. Everyone's thinking about that overall win, well, the individual win, not just the overall win, which is looking like it's going to go the way of Demi Vollering. But because of that, the attacks are almost neutralising themselves because everybody is so keen to get away and so keen to be in any little break that could go in any of these kicks. Currently, they're all neutralising each other.
We descend for about a kilometre or so here, and then we get another one, we would say, one more potential little rise that you might be able to launch something. The descent in towards the finish, given how well a lot of this group descend, it's quite steep, sort of 10% descent into the finish town, inside sort of 4 kilometres to go. So we have seen riders, if they're not using the little rises that we've got, they're attacking down the descents to try and get clear. Juliette Labousse being marked here by Anna Shackley, so the DSM Firmenich rider whose teammates have done a great job to try and set things up for her. Anna Shackley for SD Works, not going to do anything, looks around. It's now up to her to defend for Demi Vollering. So watch out for those attacks coming a little bit further down the group. Lippert looks around at Vollering. Just watch for anyone coming a little bit further down the group that might take an absolute flyer out of this group. Fem van Empel is in there wearing 86. Fem van Empel has got a good kick on her. She could fancy her chances of a stage win out of this group. She's just got to keep the legs as fresh as she can.
Yeah, anyone that knows they're fast in a sprint doesn't have to bother with any of the attacking now, can just follow and make sure other people chase. There's plenty of riders willing to close those gaps when needed. Here is this interesting moment that you spoke about earlier. Cassie Niewiadoma and Marlon Royce are marking each other, having little conversations at the back here. What's going on here?
So basically what we can say is that all Marlon is doing is keeping an eye on Cassie Niewiadoma to make sure that if she attacks, that she is right with her.
Yeah.
When she goes. We're playing a game of who blinks first down the back as Ricardo Bauernfeind attacks at the front for Canyon SRAM.
Yeah, Anna Shackley there once again for SD Works. So Anna Shackley's really impressed this race. She was away in a breakaway coming into the final summit climb yesterday and still had a good finishing position, finishing in the top 10 overall and up there in the Young Riders classification. So marking these moves nicely here, the young Brit. We're all just coming back together now. Yep, Demi Vollering is there in that yellow jersey.
Niewiadoma's managed to get herself behind Marlon Royce down the back of the group. So we've got two races going on here.
Yeah.
That's an achievement. We've got everyone attacking at the front, and then at the back of the group, we've got riders manoeuvring themselves around to launch a move from the as far down the group as they can.
Yeah, well, you spoke about like stealth attacks and sort of being able to go under the radar a little bit. And Cassie Niewiadoma, unfortunately, is not going to have that opportunity whatsoever with Marlon Royce and marking her like this. So just both of these riders at the back of the group. Look, Cassie looking around again. Still on my wheel, Marlon.
You'd love to know. We'd love to have a little mic go on that one.
Well,
Juliette Labousse attacks at the front as Cassie Niewiadoma and Marlon Royce are having a staring match down the back of the group. Antonia Niedermeyer attack the rider from Canyon SRAM here that's just closing up to Juliette Labousse. And this group have got to be aware of Juliette being only 27 seconds down in the general classification. She sits 4th overall at 27 seconds, the DSM Firmenich rider. There's that 10, 6 and 4 seconds on the line. So SD Works have got to keep an eye on her. It looked like a big attack here going in from the Swiss national team. This Leia Fouche that's got back in here. We'll get a little confirmation. So quite new to us, some of the Swiss national team riders. Paola Patino for Movistar is the rider that chases her down. Vollering's dropping down through the group, the yellow jersey. So the kilometres ticking off quickly here on this descent. Any rise, any opportunity, any corners that they have, they're launching moves out of them. Royce moves up for SD Works. We've seen them defend like this throughout the year, and then they'll shift into attacking mode. So maybe as the back end of this stage goes on, we might see an attack from Marlon Reusser. Looking around this group at the fast finishers, Cecilia Trup-Ludwig, looking that she's moving up. She's got a good finish out, we would say, out of a group like this. Sylvia Persico, Liana Lippert, Fem van Empel would also feel that she could out-sprint a group like this at the finish as well. Ashley Moorman-Passio's been sprinting well from small groups like this as well this season. Is this Anna Shackley? So SD Works shift into attack mode because they're going after, is it Esme Pepperkamp from DSM Firmenich? So the DSM jerseys on the attack. Shackley just controlling this one. Shackley would be given the opportunity, if she could creep into a group, to go clear. Rosita Reinhardt from Jumbo-Visma closes that down, looks back at Paola Patino. So the Scottish rider from SD Works on the front with Pepperkamp.
I am just waiting for a big Marlon Reusser move inside this last 10K. I think she's sat back in this group. She's bided her time. She's kept an eye on Cassia Niewiadoma, who she knows does like to make an attack or 10 in these sort of situations. But now she's coming towards the front, and you can see her starting to follow some of these moves. So I'm just thinking, is she going to counter one of these attacks, just biding her time, waiting for a point in time where she knows that Demi Vollering is safe for the overall, and she can make her move.
Cassia's also got to keep an eye on Marlon in terms of that second place on the GC.
Just as I said that, she's only 12 seconds down on the yellow jersey, Demi Vollering, and I think Demi Vollering wouldn't mind if it were Marlon Reusser to win the stage and win the overall. I think that would be okay within the team. But here comes another big attack from Canyon Schramm.
Ricarda Bauernfeind a little bit further down the group. As we said, the Queen of Stealth. Yeah. We're nicknaming Ricarda Bauernfeind. And Patino just has to look around. The SD Works have got such numbers in this group that you do have to just point to them. Patino has got Lippert. She can just be concerned with her. Ricarda Bauernfeind, nicely timed move, a little bit further down the group, just taking that element of surprise.
Let's see a wider shot here, see what sort of gap she's got. If anybody's doing the chasing, it really should be SD Works in this situation. But there are a lot of riders. Keen's really desperate to try and get a win here today. A lot of riders that haven't had a World Tour win this season. A lot of teams that are desperate to finish the season on a high here in Europe. Might not be making the travel out to China in October. See what gap she's got soon, hopefully.
Minute and 16 down in the general classification is Ricarda Bauernfeind. Started today in 7th overall. So SD Works have got a bit to play with in terms of the 23-year-old German rider. That Canyon Schramm have really invested in both Ricarda Bauernfeind and Antonia Niedermeyer this season. And this is a very similar move to what we saw in the Tour de France Femme, Alex Swift. And it's Reusser and Shackley that are on the front. Ricarda Bauernfeind is a phenomenal time trialist as well, is the German rider. This is danger moment here for SD Works, and the rest of this group are looking around at SD Works to do the chasing. Bauernfeind has been the German under-23 time trial champion. She's medalled in the under-23 Worlds in the time trial, and it's Reusser that is attacking on the front, and multiple Canyon SRAM riders in this group can now go on the defensive and just cover the moves.
They certainly can. So as we were saying, SD Works, that the onus is on them to do the chasing, and Marlon Reusser now is being very much put to work on the front. She's an incredibly strong rider, but the gap for Ricarda Bauernfeind, 12 seconds. That is the biggest gap we've seen anybody get in this run in to the finish. We've seen attack after attack. It's been a relentless last sort of 30k of racing since the summit of that previous climb. But pretty much everyone has had a go, but this is the first time any serious gap has come about. And she has, of course, got teammates back here who can relax and just follow for now. It's
been relentless for 3 days,
it
race, hasn't it?
Yes, yeah. I mean, day one was just attack after attack. Day two, mountaintop finish, but still attacks going into that final climb. And our final day, last Women's World Tour race of 2023 on European soil.
what a season it's been. It's been just a step up. And I think when you look at this season, look at how Marlon Royce has gone from, as we really just were pigeonhole her as a time trialist with classic victories, with riders like Ricarda Bauernfeind here with a Tour de France Femme stage win, Antonia Niedermeyer, her teammate, with a Giro stage win, riders like Yara Castelline, Gaia Realini, really stepping up this season. And then we've really had the dominance of Demi Vollering throughout the season, and coming to that end of the Annemiek van Vleuten era as well.
Yeah, it's been that sort of interesting changing of the guard between Annemiek van Vleuten's dominance last season to suddenly Demi Vollering's dominance this season. But it's not been just a case of Demi Vollering winning every race that SD Works have been in. They've had wins, like you say, Marlon Royce in classics, in Gent-Wevelgem, in stage races. They've had wins for, I think, pretty much every rider on their team has been able to take a win this year. It's been actually a wide variety of wins for SD Works. And of course, Lotte Kopecky won the Simac Ladies Tour and the World Championship. So yeah, phenomenal.
I think what's been interesting as well is watching, especially from, it seemed like Zulia when Marlon Royce won the stage there and then went on to win the overall, taking the yellow jersey away from Demi Vollering, is the way she's learned to become a leader this year. And in terms of, not gifting's the wrong word, but being able to lose in order to win for the team. It's being able to give up a yellow jersey so that Marlon Royce will sacrifice herself, or Lotte Kopecky will sacrifice herself, or Lorena Wiebes will do the same, and being part of the lead outs for Lorena Wiebes and learning to become a leader. So Marlon Royce has done a big effort here, looks back, will stare right into the face of Kasia Niewiadoma. Demi Vollering deciding now to go on the attack. The best form of defence is attack, and it's the yellow jersey that comes over the top of her teammate, and is the rider that closes down here to Ricarda Bauernfeind, who will be the next Canyon SRAM rider to go. Kasia Niewiadoma looked like she was just winding up maybe to go over the top. Canyon SRAM looks back, has a word with the teammates.
Well, Demi Vollering flicked her elbow there as she came up behind Ricarda Bauernfeind. I'm not sure who she thought was going to come through and give her a turn there, because I don't think anybody else was keen. Once they've seen the power of SD Works to chase this down, they weren't going to give any more turns there to close that gap. So all over there for Ricarda Bauernfeind. Just a little bit of a lull now, but no, Canyon SRAM are going to go again. Elise
Chabet attacks Esme Pepperkamp right on her. Little rise, the Swiss rider looking for a win here on home soil. And Vollering's having to do a lot of work. Liana Lippert latches onto the wheel of the yellow jersey. Oh, it's Pepperkamp in a world of pain and suffering here, the DSM Firmenich rider.
Just doing everything she can to follow that attack and just trying to stay on the wheel there. But with just Demi Vollering's just come back up to this group, just on a little bit of a downhill here. 7.4k to go. She's coming to the front, keen to sort of push on and make it sort of a fast enough pace and no one's able to counter these moves.
So some good riders in this group that potentially will feel that they've got the measure of the rest of the group, become a sprint. Nienke Winke there, just at the bottom of your screen behind Liana Lippert. Anna Shackley for SD Works is the next rider to go. Chabet shimmies across. It's Juliette Labousse that's with Anna Shackley here. She'll look back and see the rider who sits fourth overall at 27 seconds. Labousse is going to go over the top. There's Cecilie Uttrup-Ludwig, who's also got in here. Paola Patino just coming into the bottom of your screen. Royce is marking everything. Lippert just talking into the radio a little bit further down the group. 6 kilometres to go in towards the finish. Pepperkamp, next move from DSM Firmenich. Following right on the wheel. Gaia Realini is in there for Lidl Trek. Vollering flicks the elbows, looks around. There's Ashley Mormon-Passio, the next rider to go. Just wonder how many of these defensive moves that Demi Vollering's got in her, because we've got we head in towards Crans here, and we do have a descent down to the lake and then the run up towards the finish.
Yeah, so fast ascent as we come in for the final sort of inside the final 5 kilometres as we come into this. It's got quite a steep downhill just inside the final 5k. So this is really fast running now. They've done this twice before already today. We've already had 2 laps of this circuit, so they're very familiar with this running. A lot of riders in this group will be fancying their chances. We haven't got any of the big sprint names here. They have been distanced on those climbs that we've had already today, all those third category climbs. Huge opportunity for so many riders in this race to try and take a World Tour win this season.
There is indeed. As our next rider goes, it's our Swiss national team jerseys. Move through Crans, through the town. Really digs in on that corner. The group just stretches. Everyone's looking around at each other. So an opportunistic move here with 4.5 kilometres to go. Labousse is on the front for DSM Firmenich. So just checking the head unit for the Swiss team. And in these World Tour races, we do get a mix. Sometimes they can put a national team in to the race. Tucking it down on the descent. I think this is Leia Fouche that is clear here for the Swiss national team. Oh, it's Steffi Haberlin, my apologies. As we said, we're seeing quite a few of the Swiss national team for the first time. There you have it, there's a number. So Steffi Haberlin is on the attack here for the national team of Switzerland. And the rest of the group will be mindful of letting Steffi Haberlin jump clear. She's 25 years old, is Steffi Haberlin.
Yeah, well known as a mountain bike rider, so been busy with the mountain bike season this year, but now racing on the road and just grabbing these opportunities and also taking advantage of the fact that she isn't a well-known rider in the road peloton. You know, she's obviously a very strong rider on the mountain bike scene, but perhaps being able to just have that little opportunity for runners just to think, oh, who is that that's gone away? Do we need to chase her? And the answer is certainly yes. Look at this gap here.
And that is the thing about the mountain bike riders from the Swiss national team. When they come into these races, as you said, she is a real class act on the mountain bike, is Steffi Haberlin. So they can't underestimate her and also underestimate the power that she can hold in this sort of situation. And it's Jumbo-Visma that are on the front, trying to bring things back together. Marlon Reusser is sat second wheel. Fem van Empel is in the group. Look at Haberlin go, though, here. Just tucked it down in that national team jersey, looking to try and take a big road career victory if she can. Has she timed this one to perfection? Is it that momentary lull where everyone sits and wonders, I'm not quite sure who that is going? Is she a danger to us? Could she take it potentially all the way to the finish? And this group, this run in towards the finish now, it can be quite chaotic on the run towards the line. As we see the Canyon SRAM jerseys now moving up. Shackley is there. Antonia Niedermeyer now making a move. Nienke Winke is there. Rosita Reinhardt. Watch out for Persico, Van Empel, those sort of riders. And it's Nienke Winke now for DSM Firmenich. There's the next rider to launch a move. She's done a lot of work today. Has the young rider from DSM Firmenich. Good, powerful move. Late one, 19 years old is Nienke Winke. Antonia Niedermeyer brings it back together. She was 7th overall in the recent Tour de l'Avenir. She's been the national champion as a junior in the road race and the time trial. 1.4 kilometres to go. We're looking for the Flamme Rouge. Next move from the back of the group. And it's Esme Pepperkamp of DSM Firmenich. Launches the move from further down. Can she do this final 1 kilometre attack for Esme Pepperkamp? They're looking to try and get something out of this race at DSM Firmenich. They've done a great job in keeping this one and trying to set it up for their leader, Juliette Labousse. Kim Kadzo. And they've got Fem van Empel in this group, have Team Jumbo-Visma. Pepper Camp brought back together. We're looking for the Flamme Rouge. One last move. Canyon SRAM go. Through these little roundabouts now. There's a few of those. Chabet. If anyone wants to launch one now, this could be the move. This could be the lull. Patino comes through for Movistar, looking to try and set things up for Liane Lippert. Patino on the front. Marlen Reusser. Cassia Niewiadoma. Ashley Moolman-Pasio, Liane Lippert, Sylvia Persico is right on the wheel of Liane Lippert. Fem van Empel moves up onto the wheel of Marlen Reusser. The world cyclocross champion Juliette Labousse moves up. 400 metres now to go up towards the line. Fem van Empel is going to go early here for Jumbo-Visma. Marlen Reusser right on the wheel. Fem van Empel looking for that first World Tour victory. Here comes Liane Lippert making a big charge for Movistar. Van Empel, Reusser. Liane Lippert comes through. Lippert takes it for Movistar. Fem van Empel went early there for Jumbo-Visma. And Liane Lippert came through like a rocket to take the stage for Movistar. Reusser on the inside. Lippert takes it. What a sprint.
Spectacular sprint at the end there. So there was a moment there where I thought Fem van Empel might get it. She went very, very early. I thought there's no way she's going to hang on to this, but she almost did. But Liane Lippert on the line there. She looked so strong throughout today's stage. She looked so strong on those climbs. We saw her try to force that breakaway on the final climb of the day. But taking the victory in a sprint at the end, delight there for the Movistar team.
It was almost 300. It was about 300 metres to go for Fem van Empel.
Yeah, I was thinking, no way, no way, no way. Then I was like, oh, maybe she might have got this very right. But yeah, Liane Lippert just biding her time nicely, timing that sprint to perfection. Excellent win.
And what it's as we this year for Liane Lippert. I mean, it's been. We said ourselves in the Tour de France that win in the Tour de France was so important for Liane Lippert, and she's proved it yet again, because for her the victory and hugs all round from Marlen Reusser. It was 2020 was the last non-national championship win for Liane Lippert down in Australia, and this season 2 World Tour wins, stage in Tour de France Femme and a stage win here in Romandie.
Yeah, it's been a real pivotal win for her, and this is a bit like what we spoke about on stage 1 about the retirement of Annemiek van Vleuten and about how she's been able to mentor those younger riders in her team, and now they are stepping up to take the victories themselves.
Let's have a look at that sprint. Fem van Empel launching it just outside 300 metres to go.
Yeah, interesting seeing this shot here. So you think she's gone very early, 200 to go. She's still well clear of Marlen Reusser, but Liane Lippert there comes out of third wheel, goes quite wide, really opens the door there for Persico to potentially come through. Stays wide to the left and comes through clear. Oh, half a bike length at the end there. Wow.
So Sylvia Persico, Fem van Empel. There was almost that little pause for Van Empel. Lippert came through. Persico, great finish as well from Ashley Moolman-Pasio for AG Insurance. There's your winner. There's Van Empel taking second. Persico third. Reusser, Moolman-Pasio. Then our yellow jersey of Demi Vollering. That was just bonkers today, wasn't it, that stage?
It was relentless. It's just been attack after attack, and so many different runners, so many different teams. Everybody's had a go. Everybody's so keen to try and take this win here, knowing it was wide open with the faster finishers having been dropped on those climbs, but it not being so hilly like yesterday where it's going to be one for the pure climbers. That was a fantastic bike race. What a way to finish the stage race today.
And that just the stories within the stories, the face-off down the back of the group between Marlen Reusser and
I love that.
Kasia
I really love that.
Oh, It was really interesting to watch. It was they were just not letting. They know what Kasia can do, and they were just not having any of it. Fem Van Empel, and even for Fem finishing second here, there's been a lot of pressure on Fem this season coming into the road. She had previously really just ridden the mountain bike and cyclocross, and stage win in Tour de l'Avenir recently in quite a similar finish actually in l'Avenir, and jumping clear here with just over 300 meters to go, getting herself over those climbs. And for Fem, she seems like she's settled into the road this season as it's kind of gone on.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. I think Tour de l'Avenir was really impressive, her being able to take a win there. And she's a rider that I forget how young she is. She's 21 years old, but because she's the cyclocross world champion, you know, we're used to seeing her on our screens in cyclocross. She's a rider that I forget that she's actually relatively, you know, less experienced on the road side. But really looking forward to seeing how she develops, how she gets that confidence. And, you know, she was riding there without a teammate leading her out. She took the opportunity. She had the opportunity at the front of the bike race with 300 metres to go. She went for it. You know, fair play, being brave enough to do that, because a lot of riders in that situation would have thought, this is too early, I'm going to back off. But she was like, you know what, I'm going to risk it all to try and get this win. Went for it. Didn't quite hang on, but still very impressive.
It's kind of just all the chips are in there, isn't it? Just put them all down on the table.
Yeah.
Betting it all on that final sprint there. Impressive work. And SD Works, another day, another victory for Team SD Works. And what a season they've had. And we kind of touched on it yesterday. The lead, is that number 62? I think that's win number 62 for
I'm glad
SD
you're
Works,
counting, Marty, because
this season. I will
make
sure I confirm that 100%. But what a team, what a season.
Yeah, and what's impressed me, I mean, Demi Vollering has been incredibly dominant. She was the winner of the Tour de France Femme at Vexfish. She's the overall winner here. She's the overall leader for the Women's World Top. We've still had individual wins for the likes of Misha Bredevold, for Marlon Reusser, of course Lotte Kopecky, but there's been so many riders in their team that have been able to take wins. It's not just been all on her, and I think that's sort of why it's been one of the reasons why they've been so successful, that they have had multiple options in finishes. It's not just all been about one rider at the end.
But the day and the Tour of Romandie belongs to Demi Vollering. So many moves like this. It was just relentless, wasn't it? Rider after rider. Just look at that. As we've said, for many riders, this will be their last race of the season.
Yep.
And some teams will go to China, some teams won't. So just that opportunity to try and take something. Esme Pepperkamp impressed. We've got to shout out Steffi Haberlin, the mountain biker as well, from the Swiss national team. Kim Kadzo keeping things under control here for Fem Van Empel. That was impressive coming in towards the finish. Paola Patino did a great job for the Movistar team. That was Antonia Niedermeyer, who's one of the riders of the season, along with her teammate Ricarda Bauernfeind. Niedermeyer taking that Giro stage win, taking the World Under-23 time trial title. Ricarda Bauernfeind, her teammate, taking that stage win in Tour de France Femme. The lead out here from Paola Patino for Liana Lippert was impressive from the Colombian.
Yeah, this was very impressive. You can see her just looking over her shoulder here, just seeing, can she see Liane Lippert? Of course, she is back in fifth wheel here. She's in that German champions jersey, but nicely, safely tucked on the wheel of Ashley Moolman-Pasio there, just biding her time. Meanwhile, Fem Van Empel comes up on the left-hand side, and she's very keen to go early, and this is the point where she's like, no, I'm going to go for it. Meanwhile, Liane Lippert, all the way on the other side of the screen here, work to do, manages to come alongside Ashley Moolman-Pasio, gets the wheel of Marlon Reusser, a perfect wheel to have, and then comes out to the left. There's a moment here where you think Sylvia Persico is going to get through the middle, but not quite. The door just closes ever so slightly. But Liane Lippert kicks again there.
Yeah, and you look, Fem Van Empel, the reason Fem went so early was you could see that S-shaped finish straight. And as she had the front, it meant that she could just go make that completely straight and go straight from one side of that S bend to the other. Yeah,
most direct line when you have those sort of wiggly finish straights. And as we said, of course, they've seen this finish twice already today, and that has a huge advantage when you have ridden through it. You can have a little think about what line you need to take. where you need to make your move. But fair play to Leanne Lippert there, timing it to perfection, taking that win.
And getting it and finishing the season like that for the
I
Movistar
know.
team and for Liana Lippert in terms of finishing and going into the winter. You can't underestimate the power of that.
I think that's very powerful, especially, as we said, with the retirement of Annemiek van Vleuten. She has been their biggest name for many years. She's won absolutely everything there is to win. She's announced her retirement. She's ridden her last bike race. But what a way for Movistar to finish with a different rider winning a World Tour race, and what confidence going into the winter.
Your general classification looks like this at the end of the Tour de Romandie. Demi Vollering from Cassia, Nuvia Verdoma, Marlon Reusser, Labus, Persico, Bauernfeind, Shackley, Magnaldi, Realini and Fisher Black, your top 10. Minute 40 separating the top 10 overall at the end of the Tour de Romandie. What a great way to finish our World Tour season in Europe. It's been a great 3 days.
It's been a brilliant race. It's only the second year they've had the Tour of Romandie for women. Of course, it's been around for men for a very long time, but started last year. It was actually in October last year. So again, right at the end of the season, Ashley Moolman-Pasio won it last year. But yeah, another really successful round this year. Very popular race. And here's our winner.
Leanne Lippert, congrats. Fantastischer Sieg heute. Waren Sie ruhig und sicher, dass Sie heute hier in Lyon gewinnen können?
Ich habe auf jeden Fall gehofft, heute hier zu gewinnen. Ich bin das ganze Rennen ziemlich ruhig und entspannt geblieben. Mein Team hat eine fantastische Arbeit geleistet, vor allem Paula im Finale. Sie hat alle Attacken unter Kontrolle gehalten und hat mir den Sprint angefahren. Im Sprint musste ich sogar mal kurz aufhören zu treten, weil es ein bisschen eng wurde. Aber ja, ich hatte auf jeden Fall das Selbstvertrauen, heute zu gewinnen.
Was heißt für Sie, hier zu gewinnen? Sie haben schon dieses Jahr in Tour de France eine Etappe gewonnen. Es ist so wichtig hier in der Tour de Romandie, auch in der World Tour.
Auf jeden Fall. Ich muss sagen, die Schweiz ist auch meine zweite Heimat. Also ich bin Deutsch und Schweizerin. Deswegen ist es ganz besonders für mich, hier zu gewinnen. Ich bin nicht so weit weg von zu Hause und deswegen bedeutet es mir sehr viel, hier zu gewinnen heute.
We do just a question in English. You win here in the sprint. It was perfect done. It was very well prepared, or it was just improvisation until the last moment? You expected to be in the sprint and to win today?
Actually, yes, I did already on the climb really a lot of action and attacking, and I felt really strong. And then I had a great team that covered all the moves, so I could really relax and only focus on the fast sprinters. And yes, I think I had a good eye for the sprint, and I had confidence in myself, and also I really feel that the team had the confidence in me, so it's a victory for the team and for my girls and everyone, the staff, or everyone who's behind.
It's a very beautiful victory indeed.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you.
German champion Leanne Lippert takes the win here for Movistar, and just credited what a fantastic job Paola Patino and the rest of her teammates did in that lead out. And it's a big moment at the end of the season for the German champion. And there you have it. Leanne Lippert takes the stage. Great finish from Jumbo-Visma's Fem van Empel to take second. Sylvia Persico in third. Marlon Reusser getting up there in fourth. Moolman-Pasio, Vollering, Nivea Doma, Labus, Castelline and Santesteban, your top 10 on the stage. And there's a big race in Spain finishing today. So now that you've watched the Tour of Romandie, so coming up in an hour from now is the last stage of La Vuelta España. What a race it has been. Make sure you tune in for coverage and finish off the final Grand Tour of the season here on Discovery Plus, GCN Plus and Eurosport. And a big day for Sepp Kuss of Team Jumbo-Visma. Make sure you tune into that. It's been interesting in inverted commas, I think, with Vuelta. Let's hear from Demi Vollering.
after the yellow in the Tour de France, the yellow in the Tour de Romandie. How do you feel in this moment?
Yes, it's really nice. On this moment, I feel a bit tired because today was a really hard day, and yeah, it was a big battle still for GC and for the win of the stage. So we needed to be very alert and yeah, also really smart with to think what we closed or not, and it was a really difficult day today.
You seem a little tired. In fact, did you expect such a battle today?
Yes, I knew that it would be a battle. I mean, if I looked at the book, the road book, I saw that it would be a kind of quite a hard stage. And also a lot of girls can handle this kind of stages pretty good, so then you know that you have even more girls to watch out for, and yeah, that's really hard because you want to defend also the GC, of course. So yes, we did very good, I think, but it was a hard job.
It was a hard job, but you knew after the win yesterday in Togon that half the work was done.
Yeah, but then still today can happen so much. I mean, if in Juliette Labou or someone else in the GC rides away and you cannot close it, then then you still can lose the GC, for example, and that's something you don't want to happen. So yeah, you need to be very alert the whole day because luckily I had a whole team around me who helped me in this, and actually the beginning of the race was a really good situation for us because we had 3 of our riders in the first group, so that was perfect for us, and then we only had to sit back and watch that not more were crossing over, but yeah, I think the whole team did a really great job today.
How much important is in your fantastic career to wear this yellow jersey and to take it home?
Yes, that's always really nice to win somewhere at GC, of course, and yeah, this is even more special because I really like Switzerland, so it's really nice that I can that I have such a nice race on my palmarès.
Thanks a lot and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
So Demi Vollering takes the Tour de Romandie Feminin in her adopted home country. No doubts for the Dutch rider. And the season's not done by any means, is it? We've got stripy jerseys to fight out for in Europe as well.
Yeah, well, blue and gold stars as well. Yeah, so European Championships begin Wednesday, I believe, is the time trial, individual time trial. There's the mixed team time trial and the road race to come on, 23 junior and elite.
So make sure you tune in for that. There's confirmation of your general classification here in Tour de Romandie. So riders will switch to their national teams, of course, for the European Championships. We're just getting a replay of the run-in towards the finish, and you could see just in our picture Liana Lippert where she was, just a little chat into the radio there to Paola Patino. You could see in that final K.
Yeah, sitting sort of 5th or 6th wheel there. Got her teammate there on the front, keen to make sure no one makes any last-minute attacks here. No one tries to go for a long one. You know, no one does a sort of, you know, you've got to be wary of someone like Marlon Royce on a finish like this who makes a late attack. But keen to have her teammate here doing the lead out. And she's just on the outside there.
I was going to say she's starting to become the real rider to watch in this sort of situation, isn't she?
Yeah, in this sort of small group finish. And here is the moment that Fem van Empel makes her move very, very early. But she gets a little gap there on Marlon Roycer. Liana Lippert has to find her way through.
It's the leg speed, isn't it?
Yeah,
that launch. It's that kind of, you know, when you look at a cross rider in Fem van Empel, the way she launched that move there. You look at the way Mathieu van der Poel, Wout van Aert, the way they have that snap, that kick, and that's what you're seeing already with Fem van Empel.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to see more and more riders now combining the two disciplines. Of course, you've got the superstars on the men's side that we're all sort of used to talking about, but many now on the women's side as well that have sort of combined it successfully for a few seasons. But some of these real sort of young stars now are coming to the fore on the road as well as in the cyclocross.
Yeah, I mean, of course we can't forget Marianne Vos, her teammate. Of course, she's very similar in the way she has that of course throughout her career, has that snap, that kick that she has. Our young fans at the finish.
Winner, celebration time. Mesdames et messieurs, il est l'heure de la cérémonie protocolaire
The third stage here in Nyon.
De même que la cérémonie protocolaire finale. Pour célébrer la victorieuse d'étape, je vous demande d'accueillir les personnalités suivantes et les chefs du service adjoint pôle sport et manifestation pour la ville de Lyon. Applaudissements pour Florian Jalin. Lui est municipal en charge de la culture et des sports ici même.
So we have had some changes on our final stage of the jerseys of the wearers that went into the day. So it does look like our Queen of the Mountains and our white jersey has changed hands.
La victorieuse du jour. Je vous demande de réserver une ovation à Liane Liebert.
Our stage winner here on stage 3, Liana Lippert, the German champion from Team Movistar, your stage winner. I love that everyone comes out with their goodie bags already.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, already been given a goodie bag backstage and a lovely bunch of flowers. Those things to take home on the bus.
And there's confirmation of your stage result. Liana Lippert from Fem Van Empel, Sylvia Perska making up your podium. Royce Mulmapassia following Nuvia Doma, Labus Castelline and Santa Esteban, your top 10 on the day. Moving along in our presentations.
À celle qui remporte ce maillot jaune Tour de Romandie féminin tant convoité. Mesdames et messieurs, Demi Vollering.
Demi Vollering, Team SD Works, takes the yellow jersey here in the Tour de Romandie Féminin in Switzerland. Adopted home country. And it's been a great season. Make sure you keep it right here today for the last stage of the Vuelta. We will all be back in the week for the European Championships. But the Tour de Romandie today belongs to Demi Vollering. Cassia Nivea Doma takes second overall for Canyon SRAM.
Je sais que vous l'adorez. Troisième de cette deuxième édition du Tour de Romandie féminin, Marlène Reusser.
And your third place rider overall is the Swiss champion, Marlène Reusser. That'll be popular with the home fans. As Demi Vollering said herself, it was a tough day out there for herself and Team SD Works. Thanks for your company over the last 3 days. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. From Martin McDonald and Joanna Rouser, we'll see you soon. Bye for now.